Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Euroman Movie Report, the show where I talk about a movie I have recently watched at my local movie theatre. This week I have watched The Magnificent Seven remake. And to begin with, this movie is indeed a remake, but the other Magnificent Seven movie from 1960, starring, among others, Steve McQueen and Yul Brynner, is itself a remake of another movie called The Seven Samurais by some Japanese guy, if I remember correctly, called Akira Kurosawa, about seven samurais who are unemployed. They are without a master, and they are hired by some townsfolk to defeat some bandits. And this plot had been carried over in the 1960 American first remake, where we had Yul Brynner, Steve McQueen, and several others who were unemployed guns for hire, who are hired by some townsfolk in Mexico, or was it Texas? I'm not completely sure, to fight off some bandidos who were threatening their town. And in this 2016, the second remake of the story about the Magnificent Seven. Once again, we have some unemployed guns for hire, some Civil War veterans, where we have Denzel Washington in the lead role, Ethan Hawke, Chris Pratt, the guy who played the Liquid Terminator in Terminator Genesis, and that other guy who was in Jurassic World and got his his run to fame on one of these Law and Order spin-off. This giant type of person with a long beard. He talks like this all the time. I don't remember his name. It's some Vincent. I don't know what, but he plays this fur hunter type person who speaks in very low, high key voice like this, and they are, like in the 1960s version, all hired by townsfolk who are threatened by this generic bad guy played by Peter Sarsgaard. And I must say, the weakest thing about the 2016 Magnificent Seven is, in my opinion, Peter Sarsgaard, because firstly he only has one expression, and he is so completely whiny all the time. He is one of the worst. I have seen him as a bad guy before, but it was like he was miscast as the bad guy in this movie. Yeah, they should have gone for a more evil bad guy than Peter Sarsgaard. I don't really know who they should have chosen instead, but not Peter Sarsgaard. Anyway, the movie is directed by Antonio Fuqua, the guy who brought us, among others, Training Day. And it was a great thing about this Magnificent Seven second remake was that it starred Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke, and it was like in several scenes when they were on screen together, yeah, it was like you almost expected Denzel Washington to fire off one of his lines from Training Day, and it was great to see those two guys, Ethan Hawke and Denzel Washington, working together once again, because I hadn't seen them in any movies previously after Training Day. So, yeah, but is this a good movie? Well, if you have seen the 1960 version, if you have seen that, you basically know the entire plot of the story, and you basically have an idea who is gonna live and who is gonna die. And maybe that, to me, that was a bit, yeah, it was like you had an idea who would die, and maybe that made the final act of the movie fall a bit flat, in my opinion. But besides from that, it's an okay western. The acting is okay, and the setting is okay. Yeah, and the battle sequence in the final act of the film, it's okay as well. And if you like westerns, and if you have seen the 1960 Magnificent Seven, I think you will enjoy this remake, even though it isn't set in Mexico or Texas, or I'm not sure, as I said in the beginning, if the 1960 version was set in Texas or if it was Mexico, but that's beside the point. And so anyway, if I'm going to rate this film, I will give it 3 out of 5 stars. That's it, Euroman of Euroman's Movie Report, signing off. And don't forget, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to watch my previous reviews / movie talks, you can click a link in the description. But I will return next week with another movie review / movie talk. Until then, have a pleasant weekend, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.